everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Buckeye Blitz podcast. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to listen. I hope you guys had a great weekend. If you didn't notice, I was away the last week and a half or so. Went on a last-minute trip with my family before my son starts kindergarten. So here we are, we're back, and we're in the thick of it, and we're rolling into the season. So here we go. I'm happy to report that we are under 2 weeks until the first game, and we are on our way to the season. So I believe there's week 0 games this week. There's a few paying kind of attention to Navy and Notre Dame. It's one of the games I was looking forward to watching. I think Navy in the first half might give Notre Dame a little bit of a fit just because of that triple option, but we'll see. Other news and notes. So I know I get this question a lot on Twitter, like lots of questions on Twitter about recruiting. And so August 22nd, tomorrow, if you're listening on Monday, is Edric Houston going to be making his commitment announcement, the 5-star defensive lineman. I feel good about him. I've felt good about him. He's actually said that he's known where he's going for a while now. And that this is just the date that he's going to be committing. So I've had him penciled into this class for a while. I still think, I know old Tricky Nick is involved down in Bama, but unless something crazy happens, I feel pretty good about Edric Houston being in this class. He's a quiet kid. I don't feel like it doesn't strike me as a Lightfoot situation where he might flip at the last minute. I just don't feel that way. Haven't felt that way. That bodes well for OSU. So we'll watch. We'll keep an eye on it. But I think he ends up in the Buckeyes class. Other players, I'm kind of keeping an eye on that haven't committed yet that we've been in on. Obviously, everybody's paying attention to Brandon Baker. Still doesn't have a commitment date set, but I think it's really down to Ohio State, Oregon, and Texas is involved a little bit. I know Texas had made a push there, but I've said from the outset, I really think it's Oregon is the major player. But that's me, just kind of thinking that way. I believe OSU is firmly in the mix. Justin Fry has done a great job at recruiting him. I think he ends up a Buckeye when all is said and done. And I was posed this question, so I'll loop it into this. What I thought NIL-wise it might take to bring in Brandon Baker. I'm going to say somewhere around $8 million over 4 years, to like a valuation of a player for a tackle of that caliber. Now, keep in mind, he plays right tackle in high school. He does not play left tackle in high school. So, that seems a little high to me, but he's an elite talent, a 5-star talent on the offensive line, the number 1 offensive lineman in America. So if you got a chance to bring him in, bring him in. The other person I'm kind of paying attention to, and I don't have as good of a feeling about this, is Jordan Seaton, the 4-star offensive tackle. He does not have a commitment date. He does not have a crystal ball yet. OSU's in on it, but so is Bama, South Carolina, a bunch of others. If I were going to bet on this, I would take the field right now versus Ohio State. But it's not out of the realm of possibility that Ohio State makes a big push here. On the defensive side of the ball, really watching Dominic McKinley, the 5-star defensive lineman out of Texas. He'll commit on September 1st. There's been some buzz lately that Ohio State is really, really in the thick of it with this. I still think Texas probably leads, to be honest. I really do. Like, I want Ohio State to get Dominic McKinley, and I know he's strongly considering Ohio State. Pulling him out of Texas, I think, is going to be difficult. I think, we'll see, but I'm not confident right now. But I do feel like Ohio State is still in it, and I won't say NIL is a huge factor, but I know Dominic McKinley really liked Larry Johnson. He liked campus. He would be a great get for Ohio State in this class. It would add to that Justin Scott interior defensive line, it would just be really good to get him in this class along with Edric Houston. So the other person that I think that in my mind is a must get for Ohio State is Zaquan Patterson, a 4-star safety committing on the 26th, 8 p.m. Eastern. We have to get him after we lost out on KJ Bolden. I don't know what they need to do here, but they really need to turn the heat up. He plays on Shamadan Madonna with Jeremiah Smith. He isn't crystal balled anywhere yet. I think they're really, really in it. Miami's really in it. JoJo Trader also plays on that team, so there's a lot there. But I hope Jeremiah Smith is recruiting Zaquan Patterson to Ohio State, and I hope Ohio State is all over him, saying you need to come be part of this class. You need to come and be part of BIA, and we'll see how that turns out. But I'm not any longer watching Kobe Black now that we have Aaron Scott and the rest in the fold, Bryce West in the fold. I don't think that they would take him in a heartbeat to add a fourth corner to this class, but it looks like they've really moved on to next year to Dorian Brew and others to the 2025 class. So would I absolutely take him if he committed? For sure, they would, but I've kind of backed off on the Kobe Black situation. So others I'm looking at, Booker Pickett Jr., he's a legacy, but I think he ends up at Miami. King Joseph Edwards, I'm not sure how much OSU is in on him. They were, I just don't know how much now, defensive end. And then Ernest Willer, they are actively talking to Ernest Willer out of Maryland. I think he could be a Buckeye when all is said and done. So we'll see kind of where he's a 4-star. We'll see kind of, he's lower on the 4-star list. We'll see kind of where that lands. And then Nigel Smith, probably not coming. So I would love to get Nigel Smith. I just don't see it happening. So those are some of the guys I'm kind of keeping an eye on, as we wind down the 24 recruiting cycle, we head into the season. There'll be some in-season visits and those kind of things, and I'll keep you posted on that. Some other news and notes. I'm adding a little Michigan note here. So not huge on college football conspiracy things. I mean, stuff does happen. Shady stuff does happen. We know it's happened. But with Jim Harbaugh not reaching a agreement with the NC2A, and now this sudden shift in momentum from their recruits, like losing recruits to Boise State and others, just interesting to me that that's happening all of a sudden, and their recruits are flipping from Michigan to Kentucky. They lost to Ryan Nichols to Kentucky. So their top 2 recruits now are Jordan Marshall out of Ohio, the Cincinnati Taft area, and then Jaden Davis, the quarterback from the Carolinas, who, by the way, lost his 5th star and is now a 4th star. So their class is dwindling. They don't have a 5-star committed. I have to wonder if some of this is maybe he can't commit to being there beyond this year with the NCAA investigation and stuff. Is he, in the background thinking he's out after this season, since they didn't come to terms. He maybe he doesn't want to fight it. Maybe, and he's been looking to go to the NFL. Maybe this is just it. Like, maybe he's just, like, after this year, he's done. So the thing to keep in mind is, and I think about this a lot, so the kids that are playing now in that 2019-2020 recruiting cycle, primarily 2019, that was his best class ever that he's pulled in. So that, once this talent that is there leaves, the cupboard's not bare, but it's not stocked like it was, so Blake Corum and those guys were part of that class, and I wouldn't be surprised if he says, if they don't win it this year, no matter what happens, old Harbaugh's out of there. So just a weird little thing I had been thinking about. It's just interesting to me that he chose not to accept the plea deal and maybe, like, we could all be a little hard-headed at times. So, last little note for the day: the team seems to be routing into form. Jimmy Simmons moving over to left tackle, putting Fryer back at right tackle. I like the move. I think it makes sense. Fryer performs so well at right tackle. He's comfortable there. He put Donovan Jackson next to Simmons, and then the other piece of that is you can do a lot of chipping and different things on that side because you can put your best one-on-one pass blocker, which, of the tackles is probably Fryer right now. And leave him in a few more one-on-one situations, and let Cade Stover or Joe Royer help chip and block on the left side. So I think that makes a lot of sense. The only thing that we talk about a lot, still don't have a starting quarterback announced. I've said all along I thought it would be probably through the second scrimmage, maybe even the third scrimmage before. Coach Day named a starter, and I would say they need to name a starter this week so they can start game plan prep. So he does have a scrimmage to review from Saturday, and then he'll announce. He won't announce. I believe he will announce today at his press conference. Today being Monday. The 21st, I believe he'll announce who the starter is today, but I've been wrong before. They didn't do it with Cardale and JT in 2015, but this is right around the time frame that he did it with the rest of the kids, so Justin Fields and then CJ Stroud, all usually right around 2 weeks before the season started. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But I do expect to know something today, and probably at the latest by Friday, because they have to get into game prep and get ready for Indiana. So, anyways, that's going to do it for me today. Hope you guys had a good day, good Monday, good weekend. Appreciate you guys listening. Take care. Until we talk again. See ya. Go Bucks.